gap between that, the space between cornea and iris is what we call as, okay, anterior chamber, and it is filled with aqueous humor. And iris, see the colored part of eye, as I told, okay, it defines your eye color. Then it controls the size and diameter of pupil for the vision, okay, according to the distance of the object. Then divides anterior, and it again divides anterior. Posterior is back of the eye, okay, posterior chamber is also there, okay. Then lens, very important. What is the function of lens? Yes, refraction. It captures light and it passes the message on to the optic nerve, to the retina, and from retina to the brain. Okay. So it is transparent structure along with the cornea, which helps refract light to be focused on retina. Fine. And any defect related to lens that you remember? What's cataract? Yes. What's cataract? Cloudy. Yes. We'll not be able to capture the vision properly. The cloudy, as we age, there is cataract surgeries that we undergo, because of the cloudy lenses. Okay, that is it. Changes shape, flattened or spherical according to the focus. The lens adjusts itself. Ciliary body. What is ciliary body? Yes, as we discussed, it is eye muscle, which controls the accommodation of eye. Okay. Then posterior chamber, as I told, posterior is behind, so space behind the iris and the okay. Okay. So stores aqueous humor eventually transported to the anterior chamber. Okay. Now vitreous body, again important. Vitreous humor. What is that? The fluid. Okay, it is again a fluid in the eye. It is colorless gel. Okay, we say fluid or colorless gel that fills space between lens and the retina. So this comes behind. Okay. Retina is very important. Again, it is the same thing, that light sensitivity tissue lining covering back of the surface of eye. And we have in retina, we have two things. What are they? Rods and cones. What do they define, rods? There is two functioning of retina, and it is based on rods and cones. Okay, what is rods? It gives, yes, when light enters, it is able to understand that something light is falling on the eye. So that's the reason we blink, right? So it is identified by rods, and cones differentiate the colors. Okay, that is the major function. What color is what, we are able to identify because it is captured by the cones. Okay, so nothing. Okay, this is important. What is choroid? Okay, it provides nutrients. It provides nutrient and oxygen to the retina. Okay, that is choroid. What provides might be a query like a question like, what provides oxygen and nutrient supply to eye or retina? So you will have to mention the correct answer as choroid. Okay. Then posterior sclera. Extraocular muscle, again, it has so many subdivisions, but you can just go through, not so important. Medial rectus. Medial rectus is inward. You can see adduction and abduction there. Right? What is adduction and abduction? Any idea? These muscles, actually, it is for the movement of eye. Okay, extraocular muscles are for movement of eye. Based on that, it is, we say it as adduction and abduction. What is adduction and abduction? It is kind of a movement. So how is abduction and how is adduction? Yes. Yes, that is abduction, away. You would have heard the child was abducted. What does that mean? Child was kidnapped or taken away. So it is same way. Okay. Abduction is further movement, like moving outward. Okay, away from the midline. That is abduction. Adduction is inward. Okay. So based on that movement, we are defining, and each muscle, that is medial rectus, lateral rectus, superior rectus, all those have this kind of movement functions. All right. That is what is defined here. So you can see here. These are the muscles that eye structure have, and each muscle is playing its own role. Okay. Eyelid. What is eyelid? Again, it protects eye. Yeah, any outside external objects, foreign materials. Okay. Then we have glands. These glands we can see levator. Then we have meibomium. Then we have ciliary glands. Functions. What is this? You can see on the eyelid, these all are available. You can see those structures in the eyelid. Okay, these structures are in the eyelid. So we have a muscle, we have a gland, we have ciliary gland. Okay, this one is known as, okay. Then lacrimal system. What is lacrimal system? Yes, tear. Yes, yes. Okay. Orbit socket containing the eyeball is known as, yeah, socket containing the eyeball is known as orbit. Okay. This area is orbit, eye orbit. Okay. Optic nerve. Very important. Optic nerve. What is the function of optic nerve? Yeah, it transmits the visual information to retina, from retina to brain. Okay. Here, I'll give conjunctiva, we discussed. Okay. Now coming to the conditions. There are based on eye condition, refractive indexes, we have different conditions. What is refractive index? We told light eye, the main function of eye is refraction. So what is happening is capturing the light. Yes, capturing the light, deviating the light through, pass through the lens, and it provides image. Okay. So based on refractive errors, we have myopia, or we call it as, yes, nearsightedness. Nearsightedness means you can see nearby objects, but the long distance objects are blurry. So myopia is equal to nearsightedness, which is equal to you can see objects near to you, but blurry for those which are far from you. Okay. Myopia. Then hypermetropia. Yes, the opposite of that is hypermetropia. Myopia, hypermetropia. Okay. So nearby objects are blurry. Then we have presbyopsia. This happens for old age people. Okay. What is presbyopia? Biopia. So it is like there is problem with the lens. The lens gets hardened. So you have vision problem. Okay. So lens and there is no flexibility, and the focusing, lens when it loses its flexibility, it hardens, then the focusing power is lost. So you will be having blurry vision either way. Okay, that is what. So correctly, you cannot capture images to the retina. That is the actual presbyopia. Then astigmatism. You would have heard that. Even children are having it. Yes. What is that? Hmm. Yes, eyeball related. So what is happening again? That gives you a vision problem. Blurry vision is there for even for the kids. Okay, astigmatism, even kids may have this. Far away and nearby objects both may be blurry for some of them. Okay. Cataract we already discussed. That is disorder of clouding of lens. Okay. Then we know glaucoma. Glaucoma is another important area of medical condition related to eye and Elinexa. What is glaucoma? Yes, increase in eye pressure is known as glaucoma. Then why that happens? Any idea? Yes. So how the pressure is built? Okay. So because of the optic nerve, okay, because of the optic nerve damage that occurs to the optic nerve, you have a pressure. Fine. Then we have strabismus. What is strabismus? That is what you called. Yes, that is squint eye. Okay, strabismus. So that is, right? What is squint eye? Eye alignment. That is the problem. Okay, squint eye. Then we have macular degeneration related to macula. Okay. Then conjunctivitis already discussed. It is a infection or bacterial prone disease. Okay. Allergic irritants, itchiness in the eye, those. Another one important is chalazion. What is chalazion? Or sty? Sty you have heard? Yes. Yeah, fluid accumulation, right? So that is what we call as sty eye or chalazion. So we have chalazion based on maybe upper eyelid, lower eyelid, wherever it may be. So based on that, we again have different procedures for that. So sty is there done. Optic neuritis. The name itself defines neuritis. Whatever itis is there, it is, yes, infection. It may be infection or inflammation. Okay. Itis term, medical term, itis is very important. Inflammation or infection, it may define. Gastritis. Gastritis is not infection, it is inflammation. So both defines the itis term. Okay, now we have clinical procedures related to all these. Okay. So any clinical procedures that you have heard other than cataract, which I told, cataract surgery, anything else? LASIK, yes, LASIK surgery is there. Then keratoplasty, anyone heard? Keratoplasty. So what is happening in keratoplasty is you are replacing your cornea. Okay. So corneal tissue, there will be a donor or someone. So sclera is not sclera, cornea is replaced. Okay. So replace part of cornea with corneal tissue of an donor. Okay. Now you have vitrectomy. Vitrectomy is also one of the important surgery. What is happening in vitrectomy? With the name, you will be able to identify again. Hmm? Yes, related to vitreous humor. Yes, remove. Okay. Ectomy, whenever it again see the words, the terms. Vitrectomy, vitreous humor, you understood. It is related to that. Now, ectomy is again removal. So when we join, it is something related to removal of vitreous humor. So that is the importance of medical terminology. Okay. Next, cataract surgery we discussed. Strabismus surgery. Okay, for strabismus person. That's all. There are many, but these are key important ones. Those many I'll be sharing. Okay, whatever rest which I didn't discuss will also be shared with you. You can go through. Enucleation, anyone heard enucleation? So because these are not common terms that we hear, that's why I'm not discussing. Hmm. It is removal of eye that leaves the eye muscle. Okay, that is enucleation. Then let's move on to ear. Okay, let's move on. Anything you have with eye structure? Okay, ear. So what is ear? Ear is again a sense organ. So what is it for? Only for hearing? Is it only for hearing? Very important. It is also for balancing. So you will come to know, if you are not known, you will come to know why it's important for balancing as well. Ear is very important for hearing as well as balancing. So what do we have? How do we divide? Ear is into three major portion. You can see outlined red, blue, green. Yes, outer, middle and inner ear. Based on that, we have each structure. In outer ear, what we see is, yeah, pinna. That is the outer ear. But what do we have? Auditory canal we have. Okay. Then middle ear. Middle ear, we have, yeah, this is very important. Tympanic membrane between the outer ear and the middle ear. What we have is tympanic membrane. Then we have staves, we have incus, malleus, all this. Then we have eustachian tube. This is again important. Okay. So coming to pinna. Pinna is also known as, yes, another term, auricle. Okay, auricle. It is also known as auricle. A-U-R-I-C-L-E. Auricle. Okay. So, what is it composed of? What does ear? Cartilage. Okay, very important. Cartilage bones are present in ear. Then, what else we have here is the size and all those is defined for every person, and all those stuffs you can just go through. Okay. So, eardrum. What is eardrum? Yes, tympanic membrane is also known as eardrum. Okay. So what does it do? Yes. Okay. Then we have middle ear. Middle ear we have, what is incus? We have stapes. These are filled with, this area is filled with mostly air. Okay. We have oval window. Oval window is mentioned here. No, it's not mentioned. Yes, it's mentioned. Yeah. Hmm. Now it's in the inner ear. This is different, oval window. Okay. So we'll be there. You can find this is the oval window, this area. Okay. You'll be having eustachian tube over there. All right. What is eustachian tube? Yes, yes, pharynx. Okay. That is what you can see the structure here. It connects ear and the pharynx. Okay. Eustachian tube. And for what? Mhm. Yes, the fluid, it is doing some function there. It's equalizing the pressure. Okay, it is equalizing the pressure on each side of the eardrum, because inside it is air, as I told, but you have to maintain the pressure inside the ear. So it is maintained by this eustachian tube. Okay. Then in inner ear, cochlea important semicircular canals which we just discussed. So what is cochlea? You can see this one, the snail shaped. It looks like a snail. Okay. So that is cochlea. What is the importance of cochlea? Yes. How do we actually hear? Is it because of eardrum or is it because of something else? Actual function of hearing is because of cochlea. Eardrum is the passage to see how much the frequency of hearing. So actual hearing is done by the way retina is the way that the same way we have cochlea here. Okay. So cochlea is the structure responsible for hearing. Okay. This is important. Then mechanism of ear you already know, like when sound is heard, how it is, the eardrum vibrates, okay, makes sound, it goes pass on, a pressure is maintained. With that pressure, pressure is maintained between the by the eustachian tube and it hits the cochlea. Cochlea is makes us to hear the sound, okay, the normal function. And also there is fluid that keeps maintained, and when there is fluid imbalance you will encounter, when there is no fluid, there is something abnormality in the fluid of your ear, what happens? Yes. Heard about vertigo? So that is what. This is important. Okay. That's why I told it is also important for balancing. Else you may faint. You may fall down. Okay. You may feel something is, yeah. So that is the reason. So balance system, it works by sending continuous electrical impulses to the brain. Okay, it sends that a fluid which is maintained, okay, it sends a message to the brain. If something is abnormal, the fluid is imbalanced, from the brain we are not able to control ourselves. That's why we have this fainting. Okay, we faint out, we fall down. So what else we can go with this? This is very small chapter, we don't have much. With the parts itself we can complete it. Okay, anything else that you would like to know from here? Everything is given, right? Auditory nerve is there. Auditory nerve is like optic nerve. Okay. Yes. Now coming to the conditions. Coming to the condition, first and foremost condition, otitis media or otitis media we say. What is that? Otitis. So it is again inflammatory disease in the middle ear. Okay. In the middle ear, if we have, we call it as otitis media. So it can be both acute or chronic. What is acute and chronic? Yes, it happened now. So that is acute. Chronic is you're having since some time and it may be even for longer time. Okay, so that is chronic. Labyrinthus. Heard it? What is labyrinthus? What is labyrinth? Did we discuss that? Yes, the entire inner ear is called labyrinth. Okay. So labyrinthus is what? Yes. It is the inflammation in the inner ear, or we can even call it as auditory nerve inflammation. Okay. So, yes. Sorry. Auditory, yes, auditory nerve. Auditory nerve or inner ear, labyrinthus. So, labyrinth, since we didn't discuss labyrinth, you are not able to capture it. So, labyrinth is the inner ear. Labyrinthus is the defect in the inner ear. Okay. It is inflammation again. Cerumen impaction, everyone knows, right? Cerumen impaction is, yes, we also call it as wax, ear wax impaction. So we'll have a small, we don't call it as a procedure. In doctors, when they see, when there is cerumen impaction, they remove it. Okay. So this is very common. We used to see this kind of procedures very common. Okay. Next, tinnitus. Tinnitus. Yes, a buzzing sound. Okay, ringing sound in the ear is called tinnitus. Then otosclerosis. Otosclerosis. What is that? Hmm? Uh, no, yes, kind of, but not exactly. You told? Yeah, it is related to bone. So actually, it is bone growth related. Okay. Abnormal bone growth may lead to this otosclerosis. Okay. What is actually happening there is the bone is unable to vibrate freely. Okay. Growth is there. It is unable to vibrate freely. It affects this area. Stapes. You can see stapes. Okay. It impacts your stapes area of the ear. Then what else? Vestibular neuritis. Yeah. Vestibular neuritis. It again impacts the inner ear and affects the hearing. Okay. This again may lead to this vestibular neuritis may lead to vertigo, dizziness, such things. Okay. Vertigo, dizziness, and loss of hearing. Vertigo. Then, so vestibular neuritis also kind of both hearing as well as balancing trouble in the ear. Meniere's disease. Heard about Meniere's disease? Again related to vertigo. Okay, actually what is happening is the amount of fluid is not maintained. Abnormal fluid in the ear is, all these are more or less related ones. You can have only